Today we're exercising our right to protest. The police don't have any intention to come and visit us or anything like that, but if you are queried, you can just mention that this is the Freestyle Cyclist ride. They have all that information on hand, they know about it.
Alright, camera coming through, guys. Camera coming through. Watch out in orbit, camera.
Bicycle use has gone up 50% in New York City in the last week. I wonder why. And in Denmark, the government's actually telling people, use your bike, don't use public transport, because being in a crowded train or tram is going to be much worse for you than being out on a bike. It's just a shame that if they gave that same advice in Australia, it would be ignored because people are too scared to ride bikes in this country. And I don't need to tell you that half the reason they're too scared to ride bikes is that we're told it's a terribly dangerous, high-risk activity that you need a helmet for. We think, of course, that this is complete rubbish, and that's why we are continuing to make a public demonstration of our disagreement with the existence of that law.
Woohoo!
I'm Jai Cooper. I'm a sociologist and my specialty is in mobilities and bike culture. Yeah, originally from Melbourne, but I live in Newcastle now, which is another great bike town as well, and lots of separated cycleways and lots of people riding in a way that they choose. Oh look, helmets are great, love helmets. I think I've got about 11 for various purposes. I have a little bit of a problem with helmet laws as a policy, yeah. So that would be my opinion, and to make sure that we separate the two.
Hi, my name's Thomas Alston and I'm one of the directors of Freestyle Cyclists. I've had the privilege of living and working in lots of different countries and cities around the world, and none of them have mandatory helmet laws like Australia's. And having travelled through those places, I've seen just how vibrant and healthy cycling makes a city, and I'm dismayed that Melbourne and Victoria and the rest of Australia are choosing not to have that by having very punitive helmet laws. As a first step, Ed, I'd be happy to see helmet laws relaxed for paths and slow streets. I think they're very safe places to ride a bike and we should recognise that.
And what would be your utopia?
Oh, we just wouldn't have helmet laws and we'd have bike paths everywhere, and maybe we'd have a congestion zone, or maybe we just wouldn't have cars in cities. That would be nice too.
First of all, can I welcome you all? Thank you for coming. My quick head count suggests there's about 35 to 40 of us, which is a really nice turnout. They generally say that keep a metre away from other people to avoid, and I don't need to give you a lecture on personal hygiene, do I? But it does give a new meaning while we're riding to the expression a metre matters, because it matters between us as well.
Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm not anti-helmet. I'm pro-choice, and the fact that we have to or are told by the government to wear helmets I don't really like. I don't like being told what to do for my own health.
What would your one step be?
Oh, helmets by choice.
To
More
see
bike tracks.
More bike tracks?
More bike tracks. Better traffic lights for cyclists. Better markings on the road for cyclists, particularly at intersections. That's what I would like. That would be fantastic.
Hello, my name is Mike. I'm from Melbourne, but living in London these days most of the time. Yeah, just dropping in for a couple of weeks and dodging a bit of winter. The ride today was really cool. It was nice to go through some bits of the city that I hadn't been through before, along the Yarra. London's a bit of a mixed bag. It's a pretty chaotic city, but there are a lot of places with good infrastructure for cycling, lots of bike lanes, and even where there aren't necessarily great sort of bike lanes and bits like that, you still get a lot of people cycling. You know, it's pretty normal to see dads cycling with their kids, you know, taking them on the road to primary school in the morning, sharing the road with cars, and no one bats an eyelid whether they have helmets or not. You know, like, it's really not a big deal either way. And you know, you go to Cambridge and there's grannies riding around with their shopping bags on their handlebars and no helmets and no bike lanes, and it's just a thing that is happening every day and no one thinks anything of it. The first thing I would do to improve cycling in Australia is actively promote it as something that people should do for a variety of reasons. One, it makes people healthier, puts less strain on the health system, and just makes cities more efficient if there's, you know, less cars clogging up our roads, pretty much. What I think would make cycling really good for individuals getting around the cities is obviously not just bike paths and, you know, more parking facilities, but things like more water fountains, more taps, more little tool stations.
I'm Sharon from Kyneton. Well, I'm friends with Alan and Kathy, and I support the idea that I am not anti-helmet, I am pro-choice.
If you had the ability to change one thing, what would that be?
All cyclists get right of way. Well, just to have like really good bicycle infrastructure where cars are secondary and cyclists take precedence. So yes, that would be, and lots of cycling paths. Yeah, can we have the road so that there's an actual road verge so that I can ride on the side of the road and not on a bicycle path?
My name is Jason Hunter from Shepparton, Victoria, and I started cycling, well, not long, but it's been 4 years since I got pulled over by Shepparton police, and they started really abusing me and say I've got to wear a helmet, if you don't we'll fine you and take you to the lockup, and that's what I experienced.
Thanks guys, thank you.
I mean, if you look at other countries around the world, it's normal, everyday cycling and walking or jaywalking, and that's what I support. I would change police behaviour. I like cycling and walking.
Yeah.
My name is Ursula, and Ursula Redford. Yeah, I know. I live in the west, so I love riding. Always been on bikes all my life. So yeah, I've been here for a long time. I lived initially in Sydney, and then I moved to Melbourne 10 years ago. But originally, I'm from Germany. Well, I've followed the Freedom Cyclist group for a while, and I'm like probably most people here for freedom of choice. And I'm all for a helmet. If you're racing a bike really at high speed at 60 k's an hour down a hill, I would wear a helmet. But while I'm cycling, just from home to the station or to shop, I don't want to have a helmet. Or if I'm in the city and pick up a bike somewhere, like a share bike, I would like to just take the bike and go for a ride. So that's why I thought it's a good cause to make people aware it's not dangerous to just casually cycle without a helmet.
Don't cross the road till we get past you. Nice, isn't it? Humanises cycling. Exercise. Good exercise, keeps you away from the COVID shit.
What are you up to?
Just the convent. So it's an annual ride, just go without helmets for a day.
Oh, no helmet, I get too.
Yeah, no helmet.
Well, definitely, give people choice. Don't wear a helmet if you don't want to. And then sort of some traffic rules here. I would also introduce more cycle lanes in the city. What I find roundabouts are a real obstacle. I get cut off all the time when I go through a roundabout. I think we need to come to some better rules around that. I think it would be nice if more people would cycle in Australia. I think a lot of people are sort of attached to their car because it is a bit complicated. You have to wear this helmet, your hair gets messed up, and you have to have certain clothes. I think it's all a little bit too complicated. So I think if more people would ride the bike, I think we would also have a better understanding for each other.
There we go. Luke, what made you come along to today's ride?
I think the option to assess risk and ride without a helmet should be up to an individual. I've been a few times before, and it's always a good chance to ride with others that feel the same. Allow people to safely ride to shops and supermarkets, train stations without a helmet. That would involve using the footpath where roads aren't conducive to sharing with a car. Well, probably be Denmark/Amsterdam, where the bicycle isn't just seen as a sports vehicle, but it's a way to get around. The more we have the option to separate from vehicles, that's going to be safer for anyone with one arm or with two. It's yeah.
Excellent, that's great. And do you ever ride with a helmet as well?
Not once in more than 35 years.
Yeah, I thought I'd just ask that question as well. Well, pennies up, pennies up. Thanks, mate. Oh, you guys are coming down this way. Straight ahead, yep.
Hi, I'm Suzy. I'm from Alston. Well, I just believe in freedom of choice. I think I'm not anti-helmet at all on my road bike. I always wear a helmet, but when I'm riding around the city, going to the shops, I'd like to have a choice not to. I lived 10 years in the Netherlands, and that to me is the norm. Well, the law would be to stop compulsory helmets. I don't think we should be fined for not wearing a helmet. That would be my law I would change, but I'd really like just for there to be mutual respect. Pedestrians, drivers and cyclists to all show respect for each other, because I'm a driver as well, I'm a pedestrian as well. My home in the northwest, in Ascot, there's no cycle infrastructure at all, and so I often ride on the footpath because it's just safer for me. With or without a helmet, it is safer for me on the footpath, and I cop a lot of abuse from pedestrians, even if I'm going slow and being very respectful towards them. And I feel we just need to respect each other more and be aware of their difficulties. Well, I lived 10 years in Amsterdam, so for me, I loved having a bicycle as my primary mode of transport. My utopia would be mutual respect and common sense. This country is so filled with rules and regulations now that we seem to have removed the need for common sense and for people to make thoughtful decisions.
And once again, we're out in public showing what ordinary bike riding is like everywhere in the world and how just pleasant it is.